Greetings, fellow Gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
And I'm Count Jackula.
And today we're going to talk about The Lord of Misrule, which is a horror movie that came out last year by William Brent Bell, the director of The Boy and Orphan First Kill.
I liked Orphan First Kill. I liked The Boy less so.
Yes.
But I can safely say, with no irony whatsoever, this is his best movie.
I would actually agree with that. I would agree with that 100%. This movie is a folk horror movie. It is about a preacher lady who has moved to this small town to be their small town preacher. But this town has this folklore and tradition of this creature, Galagog, who was shooed off by this person named the Lord of Misrule way back in the day. And so every year they perform this traditional festival in which they shoo off the Galagog. Yeah. And it's supposed to grant them like a good harvest every year.
Yeah, good harvest, long life, all the things that you want.
But during the most recent festival in which she attended, her daughter goes missing and seems to have been taken by whoever was playing the Galagog during the festival. Yeah. And what follows in the movie is her trying to figure out what happened to her daughter, where her daughter is, who took her, and why the rest of the town is being no fucking help about it. It's a folk horror movie, so you can kind of guess this is going to take some cues from The Wicker Man, and it does.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
But it ends in a completely different way than The Wicker Man that I was not expecting.
Yes, it does something I've never seen a movie do before.
Yes, exactly.
The movie also stars Ralph Ineson,
yes,
whose voice sounds like gravel itself.
The Green Knight?
Yeah, the guy played the Green Knight. The guy who played Cleftjaw in Game of Thrones. He was also the dad in The Witch.
Yes. He's great in this. He basically plays the true believer, like the worshiper of Galagog in the town.
Yeah.
And he's like one of the primary antagonists throughout this story because he's just standing in the way of everything the mom is trying to do to find her daughter.
Yeah.
He's great. His performance is phenomenal in this. So is the mom. What I like about the mom is that even though she's playing a character that otherwise I would not like, the performance is so good and my empathy for her lost daughter was so strong that I was able to look past the fact that I find her religiosity annoying.
You feel for her in a way you don't feel for the main character of The Wicker Man.
Yeah. Like she's constantly doing this thing where she's bringing up God even to people that obviously don't believe in God, and that's an annoying trait in my opinion. But like the actual turmoil she expresses for the loss of her daughter, I felt so strongly that I was able to look past being annoyed at her for that.
Yeah, because you find yourself going like, well, I mean, she doesn't know what's happened to her daughter and no one seems to be helping her.
She's losing her mind, and there is that feeling of being gaslit throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
Kind of like The Wicker Man.
She is.
Exactly. Everyone is basically telling her like, no, that didn't happen, but she saw it.
Yeah. She saw it fucking happen. So she's like, what do you mean it didn't happen? Like, of course it happened. I saw it fucking happen.
Now, something I want to warn about this movie, when I was first watching this movie, I was building up all these like frustrating criticisms with the narrative of the movie that are all answered by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
In retrospect, everything makes sense. But when you're sitting there, if you haven't figured out what's happening yet, you will probably be like me, where you're sitting there going like, why wouldn't a cop go question that guy?
Why wouldn't they do this?
Yeah, why wouldn't they do this? Like, I understand that the cops are incompetent, but like, so incompetent they don't interview the guy that they think took the girl?
Yeah.
Like, that's a whole level of like...
Yeah.
And we witness the actual like disappearance of the daughter.
Yeah,
She witnesses it.
Yeah, we don't see the actual like kidnapping.
No.
But
we see the kid go in the woods and never come back, right?
Yeah,
We know that she was following the Galagog, whoever was in that costume.
Yeah, and they're just sort of like, well, whoever was in the Galagog costume, do you want to like, I don't know, ask them some fucking questions? Yes. The cops are like, don't tell us how to do our job, ma'am. And I was like, well, apparently you're not doing it, like, do you not watch true crime? That's like the first thing they do.
She starts having these hallucinations, and you're not sure if they're real or if they're not, but they're like hallucinations of what you can assume is the Galagog, this big deer-headed thing that is somewhere in the woods that she keeps seeing like stomping around. There's a point in which like she sees it like down a hallway. You're not quite sure what's real and what's not. Is she losing her mind? What's going on? And those scenes are really creepy. and I really dug them. I also love all the lore of the town, because throughout this movie, she's kind of learning more and more about the town's history, and I thought the lore building was super believable.
Yeah, it has that aspect of a good, like, Lovecraft story.
Yes.
You know, although The Wicker Man is the closest analog.
Yeah, but like a Shadow over Innsmouth, where it's very obvious everyone's hiding something, but you're not sure what.
Yeah, but you have no idea what's going on. You're like, well, clearly whatever they're doing is not great.
And they're being kind of two-faced about it, right?
Yeah.
Because you have the people who would, like, are trying to throw this candlelight vigil for her, and so it's like they really care or whatever, but then, like, every time she tries to figure out what happened with her daughter, everyone stands in the way or like tries to deter her away. Very much like The Wicker Man, actually.
Yeah, super like The Wicker Man.
Except she's more directly connected to the missing person in this instance.
Yeah, because she's like the girl's mother.
I also really love the music in this movie, not just the score, which is a very subtle score, but the actual like folklore songs in the movie.
Yeah.
Which they turn into a full song during the credits. I really appreciated that.
Yeah, at the end credits, there is a folk song about the movie you just watched.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It's one of those great moments where the movie has a theme song that tells you the entire plot of the movie.
Yeah.
And I really like that. After hearing the songs multiple times, you get to the end of the movie, and then when you hear like the final version of it, you get like straight up chills because the movie has built it up so well.
Yeah, because they keep saying that chorus like, all is as one.
Yeah, oh god, that's such a great chorus.
All is as one.
And at first it's like, okay, okay, that's a cool little song. And then you get to the end of it and it's just chills.
Yeah.
Just down the spine.
Oh, so good. So good.
So anyway, The Lord of Misrule, I'm pretty sure it came out last year, so it's probably available to rent anywhere.
It was on Hulu.
Is that where we watched it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so it's currently available on Hulu. Check it out there. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, let us talk about the spoilers so we can talk about what's actually going on behind the scenes of this town.
I caught on that the whole town was in on it real quick. I was like, they have to be, otherwise the movie doesn't work at all.
But the actual spoiler, the actual twist of this movie is that the Galagog was never a thing that they pushed out of their town.
Correct.
It is the thing that they worshipped in the town. The whole legend of pushing the Galagog out of the town was something that they basically made up to appease the Christians that took over the town and killed their former leader, the Lord of Misrule, way back in the day. And if you're like me watching the movie, you're probably wondering while you're watching it, why is this town, if they are so pagan as they come across, why do so many of them attend this church?
Yeah, and it's not like a lot of them.
Yeah.
But it's enough.
And why did they even allow the church to be there to begin with? And then, like, when you find out the real backstory of the town, it starts to make more sense. And it also starts to make more sense when you realize that their whole goal is to essentially sacrifice the preacher lady. And the daughter's kind of the way to get her to go confront the Galagog.
Because part of the ritual is that a child is taken by the Galagog to his black barn.
Yes.
Which you totally get to see.
And the whole goal of this is to get the mom to go to the black barn because she is a woman of the church. She's a woman of faith. So getting back at her is by proxy getting back at the Christians that burnt the town down in the years past, right?
Yeah.
More than that, the movie culminates in her husband getting the treatment that the Lord of Misrule originally got by the Christians. He's tied down and his face is burnt off.
Burned alive!
Yep. And she has to go into the black barn to confront the Galagog so that he may take her soul.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But that's not what happens.
No, it's not what happens because it turns out that's not even what the Galagog wants.
Nope.
All the Galagog wants is to essentially complete the ceremony. And the ceremony is basically, I take your child.
Yeah.
Now you come get the child. You face me. And then I give you your child back in a symbolic act of rebirth.
Yeah, the idea is whoever's child is taken, they're the new chosen one to lead the town into the future.
Yeah.
They're the new Lord of Misrule.
Yes.
And in a past festival, the dude from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Ralph Ineson.
His child got taken, and he never went and confronted the Galagog. And he's kind of convinced the town in the years since that the new ritual is the Galagog takes a child and then you'll have a good harvest.
Yeah, and that lasts for like 15 years or something.
Yeah.
You know?
He was a coward. Because he never went and confronted the Galagog, the ritual was never finished.
Yeah.
So when she goes and does it, she is now the new Lord of Misrule. He is dethroned.
Yep.
And she gets to continue her life with her daughter in tow, because if you go to confront him, he will give you your daughter back.
Oh, yeah. I'll totally give you your daughter back.
And she is now going to be preaching in the town as the new Lord of Misrule. No longer preaching the Jesus stuff.
Yeah.
Because as the final shot shows, there's a little bit of the Galagog in her now.
Yeah.
You know, with those
Yeah,
long
because
black
now
nails.
she's like kind of witchy looking.
Yeah.
You know?
She kind of ultimately gets to meet God.
Yeah.
And it's not the God she thought.
Yeah, no, but it's a god.
And gets to become the new voice of that God for real this time.
Yes. Yeah. The thing I really liked about this was that at no point do you feel like the Galagog was ever actually threatened by the church?
Yes.
Ever.
Though I'm sure it enjoys having one of its former preachers as its preacher now.
Sure, that's poetic, right?
You know?
It
has converted that thing, that person.
Yeah. That is not a conclusion I thought anyone would ever do.
And what I like about it is it allows this movie to have its cake and eat it too. The asshole who's been a complete piece of shit the entire movie gets his just desserts.
Yeah. Oh, God, I love the way the town turns on the guy.
Yeah.
When she just tells them what is going on, they're just like, okay.
Yeah.
Stab the old guy. Yeah.
And on top of that, it gets to still have the pagans end up on top at the end of the story.
Yes. Yeah.
And she becomes the master of two worlds.
Yes.
Like a good hero story.
Yes. It's just that one is a pagan god and the other is the church, you know?
It's very much a Wicker Man story for the post-witch and Midsummer age.
Yes.
Folk horror we've been getting lately, stuff like The Witch, have been having the protagonist's final journey be actually joining the pagan thing, as opposed to The Wicker Man, where they end up getting killed by the pagan thing.
Right.
And this is very much like, it's a story kind of like The Wicker Man, but at the end, she joins them.
She joins them and becomes its leader.
Yeah.
In this new way that should not be compatible.
And the funny thing is, it actually makes a lot of sense with shit that happened earlier in the movie, because despite Ralph Ineson constantly insisting that if this happens, if your child is taken, it will give us a good harvest, yada, 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 so accept the sacrifice, blah, 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 blah. Throughout the entire movie, every time someone cracks an egg, one in every couple eggs is fucked up.
Yeah, it's clear that there's no prosperity blessing on this town.
The harvest is not good.
Yeah, harvest is bad.
The thing that Ralph Ineson's character kept insisting that, you know, he takes your child and then in turn you get a harvest is the Christian propaganda.
Yes. Man.
It's a really good movie.
It's a really good movie.
I highly recommend it. It's definitely going to hit a lot of beats similar to movies you've seen before, like The Wicker Man, but I love the way it goes. I love where it lands.
Its resolution is what makes it unique.
And it hits all those beats really well, too.
Oh, yeah.
With that said, y'all know me. I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on Twitter, on Twitch, on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Just look up the Horror Guru or Blood Splattered Cinema and I'll be there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. Jack you can find on his YouTube page. Go check that out. And if you'd like to help out either of us more directly, be sure to check out our Patreon pages. And remember, $1 a month, it can go a long way. And if you made it this far into the video, then I want you to comment below, and be sure to comment below with the hashtag AllIsAsWas. Use the hashtag AllIsAsWas. That way I know.
All is as was.
Yes. That way I know, that way Jack knows, that way the whole world knows, that way Galagog knows that you watched this video all the way through. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, peace out, and I'll catch y'all later.